Hey gentlefolk, my name is Malte Krug. Welcome back for another episode of All About Keys. This is my first video about servicing a keyboard, in this case an electromechanical classic from the 70s, the Rhodes Mk1. Me, being the piano builder I am, love fiddling around with these old instruments, and there will be more videos to come about other similar instruments too, whenever I will have the chance to repair or service one. For this video I had to cheat a bit because I did this work on a customer's Rhodes piano over a year ago. In the day I had no real experience in filming what I was doing, so I only took some total shots, just having a GoPro running the whole time. But now, when I wanted to edit together this video, I realized that I needed more detailed shots to show you guys more interesting angles. The customer picked his piano up before I could actually record those details or some sound examples, so I took the opportunity to do those shots while giving my own Rhodes Mk1 a similar treatment. This is not a manual for servicing your own Rhodes yourself, but a basic overview of some of the steps that are necessary once in a while to keep those pianos functioning. I recommend to hire a tech like me to do this for you if you have any doubts about your skills concerning anything I show in this video. In other words, you break something, it's your problem. So without further ado, let's get started. When you open up a Rhodes piano, the first thing you're gonna see is this so-called harp. It's the wooden frame which holds all the tines and pickups. The tines in this specific Rhodes were covered by a bit of surface rust, so I had to take care of that as well. The silver things with the red coils are the pickups. There's one for each key. The last thing to check before actually disassembling, the pods are not crackling, the output socket seems to be okay, and so is the connection from the pickups to the output section. That key is still stuck, so let's check under the harp what is causing this. Tempo pedal is working. But then my attention gets distracted by a missing hammer tip. I'm gonna fix that one first. I'm using regular contact glue. You put it on both pieces, wait for about 5 minutes, and then you just press the pieces together. I'm gonna edit this down a bit so you don't have to wait. You gotta be careful which spare hammer tip you're gonna choose, because there are 3 kinds of it, depending on which area you are working on in the keyboard. By the way, the stock key was an easy fix. Somebody lost a screw inside the mechanics, so that got stuck in between the key and the side panel. I took it out, and it's working again. Then I decided to take the whole thing apart, which means to take out all the individual tines for cleaning and to get rid of all the surface rust. Just in case you're wondering why I'm using a CD jewel case, its thickness is exactly the amount of gap I need for getting the height of the tines back to factory settings. Most of the used Rhodes I serviced had their tines too low. That results in an insufficient hammer escapement. That's the distance between the hammers and the tines when you hit a key and hold it down. Its resting place, so to speak. Is it too small, the ability to play fast runs and repetitions on the keys might suffer. The other screw on a tine is for timbre adjustment. We'll get to that later. For now, I'm just using it to get the tines parallel to the frame. So now that I'm done with the cleaning, I'm gonna take out the broken tines and replace them with new ones. Four tines are broken in this Rhodes piano, so I took 4 spares, which I marked with the respective key numbers, because before I can put them back in, I have to cut them to a proper length. There's a tine cutting chart available from Rhodes, and you can find it online in the service manual. After the tines are marked, I snip them off with a pair of pliers, but just a bit longer than needed. Be careful, the loose ends of the tines might fly off violently. The use of safety goggles is advised. The ends of the tines need to be flat, so I have to file them into that shape. Not doing this might result in bad sounding tines. And there we go, filing down the ends until none of my Sharpie marks are left. And then I put all the corresponding parts back together again. And to make this fork-like construction actually tunable, you have to slide on one of these tiny tuning springs. Now the repaired tines go back in, but the final tuning will happen later. Now I'm taking out the damper rail. There's a ground connection as well, don't forget to put it back in later. There's a holder missing in the middle, where this black felt piece is. I used this opportunity to clean the housing out, and now I'm gonna adjust the tines. As you can see, not even the pickups are in the proper line, so you have to use the timbre screw to adjust the tines into the right position, which is shown on the detailed picture from the service manual. This will give you a basic even timbre of all the tines, but you'll have to adjust them again in detail by ear. The sheet of paper I put in is just for giving me a visual contrasted background, while adjusting the pickup's distance to the tines. The last step I showed you has been for adjusting the timbre of the tines. The one coming up now is for volume adjustment. The gap between the pickups and their respective tines need to be exactly the same, but like with the timbre, you have to work out the details later by ear. Now the damper rail goes back in because I want to take care of the damper adjustment. This is done to make sure that when you hold a plate chord with the sustain pedal, all notes stop at the same time, as soon as you let go of the pedal. This way no note of said chord will ring longer than any other. At first I mark all the dampers that are out of line, then they get adjusted to get the result I want to achieve. I put the harp back in for double checking, back and forth until I'm happy with the damper's behavior. All hinges get connected again, because now we're going for the tuning. For tuning, you will have to move those tiny springs up and down the tines, depending on if the pitch is too high or too low. Moving them to the end of the tine will have it sound lower, and vice versa. That's too low. So I have to move the spring up a bit. That was too much. Perfect. To finish this step up, this has to be done to all the other tines as well. There it is. Serviced Rhodes piano, Mk1, and it's so much fun to play. That sounds already good without the effects, but let's try something else. In the day, the only effects you could get were actually for guitarists, so everybody just used the guitar effects. The level coming out of a Rhodes is similar to one of an electric guitar, so you should be fine. Good one is phaser. chorus. Adding some room. Back to the phaser. Modulation is always good on a Rhodes, so this is a rotary. When it comes to effects, there's nothing you can't try. Flanger and delay. And because there were no dedicated keyboard amps and the level of the output is similar to an electric guitar, everybody used guitar amps, and those can distort. Something like that. So, there you have it. Another classic, well, actually two of them, back in good shape to be played in the studio or on stage for the players and listeners to enjoy. I'm a fan of these old instruments, all those Rhodes, Wurlitzers, clavinets, Hammonds and other electromechanical keyboards. They are mostly one-trick ponies, but in my opinion sound so much better and feel much better while being played. And I'm lucky enough to own some of them and to be able to do my own service, which will result in more interesting videos for you lot. I hope you liked this video, and it would be great if you consider to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell. There will be more repair videos coming up in the future. My Wurlitzer needs some service as well. See you next time on All About Keys.